So folks, every meetup we have this idea of choosing a topic. The objective is that, because it's a vast thing, open learning is not one small little thing. So we just like to focus the discussion on certain questions, or at least start the discussion through these questions and open up to the other ones. And today we decided to look at when do we stop, when do we start, and when do we stop open learning. And that was the kind of a feeder topic for today's discussion. And I think, Ratnesh, you're ready with the presentation, so we'll go ahead with the presentation and then get into the topic. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So right. At the beginning, I like to say that there are a lot of different terms different people use. Some people call it open learning, unschooling, homeschooling, free schooling, and I think there are another dozen more terms that are being used. So let's not get lost in these terms. Let's just understand that finally it's all about this continuum, where on one end you may have no structure, no curriculum, while on the other end you may have fully structured curriculum driven, which is the conventional schools and colleges. And at different points of time in one's journey, one can be at different stages. So one can be totally unstructured, one can be completely unstructured, or somewhere in between, and so on. Like I was giving an example of my son, while he plays football, so he doesn't go to school, so in that sense it is not structured. But then his coaching, which he does with his coaches, is to that extent structured. It's driven by them. Yeah, it's not his free will that he can do whatever in those coaching sessions. So in that sense, he's somewhere not completely zero structure, but yeah, whatever the coaches say. But he doesn't follow. The rest of his time is open for him to explore what he wants to explore. So that's just as an example. So in open learning, we are not saying that you have to be on this end or that end, or you have to be in between. What we are saying is, hey, it's our life. Let's move wherever we feel like moving, depending on what we want, or rather what the child wants and the family wants. Yeah. So right now we will use the term open learning to more communicate that we can be anywhere on the continuum. It need not be only this end or that end. Yeah, but you're free to use any term as you go along, right? So where did we start our journey? We started with this question of purpose of education, which I'm sure many of us have thought about. For us, when we looked out into the world, we felt that the world was only talking about job, career. The whole education system is kind of driven to get you a so-called good job. And we kind of didn't like that definition, because to us, it looked like that whole learning is possibly all about living, or rather living, learning, education are synonyms. They're actually not different words if we really try and look at it. That's according to us. And if we think of it that way, as our life itself as the whole education and whole learning journey, then it makes sense that at every stage, the child is the leader of his or her own learning. When the child is born, the child is a complete leader of his or her own learning. Okay, it goes about deciding when to turn, deciding when to walk, deciding how to learn, what mother tongue to learn, or if there are two languages spoken, to learn two languages. Nobody teaches, the child is the leader, he or she picks up whatever. It's somewhere else we start saying, no, to stop being a leader. So what we realize that if we give the child the leadership, then every moment is living and every moment is learning and every moment is education throughout the whole lifetime. So that led to four, like we just call them as propositions or proposals. That the first one was that, hey, if that is the case, then why do we need to bind the child with a curriculum? The child can pretty much decide what I want to learn, because finally it's the child who wants to learn something or do something, right? And the children are fairly capable of deciding it, not just that they can decide, but they are fairly capable, because then they are being driven by their energies, their interests, their inclination. They're not driven by what somebody else says. And if that is true, if we can allow the child to decide what to learn, then we should also allow the child to learn how the child wants to learn, right? The child can learn from a book, from a teacher, by doing it oneself, from a YouTube video, or whatever else the source would be, right? So we don't have to put the child into a class, so to say, to learn. The child can decide. The child wants a class, fair enough. We can look for a class for learning something. And the third one, if we let the child decide what to learn and how to learn, then why assess the child? Then there's no need of exams and tests and all that. Then the child himself or herself goes through a process of self-reflection and self-assessment, obviously with the feedback of all the well-wishers around the child, right? Which will include friends, of family members, and if the child is also working with some specific teacher, their feedback. Finally, if we put these three together and also the point that the child is the leader, we realize that we don't necessarily, or every child doesn't need to necessarily go into a school or a college or a certification, right? It depends on the child, what the child wants to do. The child can choose to go to a school or college, nothing wrong with that. But the child can also choose to just do self-learning or do apprenticeships or do lots of small courses or just create his or her own life on his or her own, learning by doing and so on. So it just opens up a lot many more options rather than just the default, let's go to a college kind of an option. So that to us is open learning. And let me play a very quick video of some children just sharing. And children, when we ask them, hey, what do you like doing? They don't share about some big plans. They just share spontaneously what comes to their mind. And that's the beauty of being in here and now rather than, those big plans. So let's watch.
Connecting with people is amazing.
I like chit-chatting with my friends while eating.
An opportunity to take all the guests around the tour, around the campus.
Currently, I'm working on improving myself so that I can play in a club next year.
I get resources and support to fulfill my passion for sketching.
I sketch many things of animals, birds.
In Aarohi, I am a guest and I can find my space here, pursuing my interest on upcycling.
I drum to express my emotion and it makes me feel lighter. In bird watching, I learn a lot of things. What is color of bird, and
I like the time when I spend with the community playing sports.
I spend time doing projects related to cinematography and video editing.
I like organizing trips in Aarohi क्योंकि your opportunity is to organize trips.
video making is awesome. It's productive and you get an awesome outcome.
I like to do electrical work. I've put many.
I connect with the planning here, gives me clarity.
I like playing with the cats. I learn crochet and teach others crochet.
எனக்கு சமைக்கிறதுக்கு இங்க ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும்.
All the resources here are new to me to explore.
Right. So that was just a quick glimpse of few people at Aarohi. This was made obviously a few years back, or 3 years back. And so what Aarohi does is it takes this concept of open learning, which we had briefly talked about in the last few minutes, and we have realized that it's much more fun if a lot of families get together and we create a community and then we do this open learning. So why just do it all alone as a family? Why not many of us get together? And primarily based on that, hey, it's much more fun to be in a bigger community where there's a whole lot of different people. People connecting with each other based on their interests. So different people connect with different people getting together to work together where the age is not a barrier. They could be young children, older children, adults, even grandparents, all coming together and doing different things together. Also, that leads to a lot of cross-supporting, mentoring with each other. Child could be mentoring another child could be mentoring an adult could be mentoring a child, and so on. So there's a lot of, you can just say, support to each other that happens within the community. The whole, obviously, idea being that we can co-create and co-live together as a journey of learning. And that's what we really enjoy doing. So Aarohi is open learning in the in the setting of a community, wherever you are. It doesn't matter which city you are in. If you are physically in the campus, obviously you get people to be in the campus, other people. If you're not physically in campus, you are anywhere else in the city, that does any other city or even any other country, it doesn't matter. We still get together and do lots of things together. And that's the beauty of the community. Like Jayashree was mentioning, she's part of the online community because she's not in this city. So she's from Chennai, and she connects from Chennai on a almost daily, weekly basis, doing different things together. Right. So yeah, so as I was saying, we work through the campus as well as through the online community. So that's what Aarohi is. It's an open learning community, open to any family. So it's not as, there is obviously no question of any barrier for anybody to join the community. Anybody can join the community who wants to be in a community and pursue open learning. Yeah, so let me stop here. That's more than enough time I have taken. Let's open this to discussion. Dwiji, over to you if you want to start with some thought, or for anybody else if you want to start with any thought or question.
Yeah, just a quick thing. So one of the things that we all feel, not feel, but have experience is this: whenever you start something or whenever you're being sold something, you're told, you start here and you end there, and it's a nice, neat package. You don't have to think too much. You don't have to worry too much. We have taken care of everything. And this is true about education as well. And most of us have experienced that. Some of us have bought into it. Some of us have rejected it at different stages. But almost all of us have experienced this, that, if your child is 5 years old, they have to be in school, first standard, 6 years, first standard, so on and so forth, 10th standard. Okay, your child has done 10th. Now they have to appear for 12th. And then after 12th, hey, it's not enough to just get 12th standard. Now you have to get a degree. And then sometimes in some families, it's like, oh, degree here, you have to do something more. So on and so forth. So there are these definite endpoints for exit points, let's say. And there are these definite entry points, which is 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever. So what's the equivalent in open learning is a common question that we come across. And we just thought, okay, let's explore that space a little. And also, try to understand and share each other's experiences on this and ideas and, how we live. So that's what I thought would be a good start for the discussion. So if folks want to share, what are your thoughts on when do you think we should start open learning, and what's the exit point to this whole open learning business? I get onto the open learning highway now. Which exit do I take? So do share your thoughts, please, and then we can take on other questions, more general questions about open learning, as well as about Aarohi, of course.
Sir, I'm new to Aarohi family. I'm Tamilian. Okay. I want to discuss with Tamil only because I can't fully speak English. Okay. If it is matches to Aarohi.
Ambika, you see, our both Ratnesh and my Tamil skills are limited, but we have Jayashree here. I'm guessing Jayashree, you can converse comfortably in Tamil, right?
Yeah, I'll be able to do.
Yeah, so you please take the lead, Jayashree, please.
Good evening, ma'am. Actually, நான் உங்ககிட்ட phone பேசினேன். நீங்க தான் எனக்கு Telegramல join பண்ண சொன்னீங்க. So after that only இந்த மீட்டிங்காக வந்து join ஆயிருக்கேங்க. எனக்கு வந்து 2 question இருக்கு. ஒரு question வந்து என்னோட பையனை வந்து எங்க வீட்ல வந்து எல்லாருமே வந்து he is in 7th now. After அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து 8ன்றங்காட்டி அவனை ஸ்கூல்ல போடணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு என்னுடைய ஃபேமிலில எல்லாருமே வந்து சஜஸ்ட் பண்றாங்க. ஓகே லெட் தெம், அவனுக்கு என்ஜாய் பண்றேன்னு சொன்னா அதுக்கான ஸ்பேஸ் கொடுக்கலாம். லெட் ஹிம், அவன் என்ன நினைக்கிறானோ அதை பண்ணட்டும்ன்ற தாட்ல இருக்கும். பட் நடுல கொஞ்சம் வந்து எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் ஆகிறதுக்காகவும், ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு லேர்னிங் அதர் சொசைட்டில எப்படி நடக்குது அப்படின்றது, எஜுகேஷன் 8th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் 9th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்லாம் நம்மளுடைய எனக்கு பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எங்களோட ஊர்ல எல்லாம் எப்படி இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, இட்ஸ் ஃபுல்லி கவர்டு டைம். எப்படின்னா அந்த குழந்தையால வந்து ஒரு டைமை வந்து மேனேஜே பண்ண முடியாது. ஃபுல் டைம் ஹி வில் பி இன் த ஸ்கூல் ஒன்லி. அந்த 8th பிரைமரிக்கு அப்புறம் செகண்டரி அப்படின்றதே ஃபுல் அண்ட் ஃபுல் ஹி இஸ் இன் த ஸ்கூல். அந்த டைமை வந்து எனக்கு கன்சியூம் பண்றதுக்கு அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு சில டைம்ல வந்து நான் வந்து ஆரோக்கியில வந்து ஹி ஷுட் எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் ஹிம்செல்ஃப் அப்படின்றத தாட் பிளான் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். அதை வந்து உங்ககிட்ட பேசணும் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன். நெக்ஸ்ட் செகண்ட் கொஸ்டின் இஸ், மை செகண்ட் ஒன் இஸ் 7 years old. அவங்க வந்து இப்போ ஸ்கூல் வேணான்றதுல அவ முடிவா இருக்கா. அம்மா நான் வந்து அவ சொல்ற எக்ஸாம்பிள் எப்படி சொல்றா அப்படின்னா, பெரியவங்க யாருமே படிக்கல, ஏன் சின்னவங்களை மட்டும் படின்னு சொல்றீங்க, எனக்கு பிடிச்சதை ஏன் பண்ண வேண்டாம்னு சொல்றீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு கேள்வி கேட்கிறா. சோ ஷி நோஸ் நான் என்ன நினைக்கிறேனோ அதை பண்றதுக்கு விடுங்க அப்படின்றத அவளால பேச முடியுது. சோ அதனால என்னால ஈஸியா சேனலைஸ் பண்ண முடியுது, அவளுக்கு சேனலைஸ் பண்ண முடியுது. அதனால நான் அவளுக்கு பிடிச்ச விஷயத்த பண்ண ஈஸியா இருக்கு, எனக்கு ஈஸியா இருக்கு. என்னுடைய ஃபேமிலில பேசுறதுக்கோ எல்லாத்துக்குமே அவளே பதில் கொடுத்துட்றங்காட்டி ரொம்ப ஈஸியா இருக்கு. எனக்கு வந்து இந்த இடத்துல வந்து அவளுக்கு இங்கிலீஷ் ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு. ஆரோகி கம்யூனிட்டி பீப்புள் கிட்ட மிங்கிள் ஆறதுக்கு எனக்கு இங்கிலீஷ் கொஞ்ச நாள் ஸ்ட்ரகிள் ஆகும். பட் இஃப் இட் இஸ் தேர், அவளால அந்த கம்யூனிட்டியை ஃபீல் பண்ண முடியுமா அப்படின்றது எனக்கு தெரியல. சோ ஆரோகில அவளை ஜாயின் பண்ணா எனக்கு வந்து அந்த பேரண்ட்ஸ் கூட கம்யூனிகேட் பண்றதெல்லாம் அவளால முடியுமா அப்படின்றது எனக்கு அந்த டவுட் இருக்குங்க. இந்த 2 கொஸ்டினுக்கு எனக்கு டவுட்டுக்கு சொல்ல முடியுமா?
ஓகே. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி உங்க பையன் இப்ப ஸ்கூலுக்கு போயிட்டு இருக்காங்களா இல்ல?
ஆமாங்க, போயிட்டு இருக்காரு. பட் ஹி
8th ல இருந்து வேண்டாம்னு பாக்குறீங்க?
என்னங்க?
8th ல இருந்து வேண்டாம் அப்படின்னு பாக்குறீங்க? 8th ல இருந்து நம்ம வந்துட்டு ஆரோக்கியில பாக்கணும் இருக்கலாமா அப்படின்னு பாக்குறீங்க?
இல்ல மேம், அப்படி நான் கேட்கல. 8th வந்து என்னோட ஃபேமிலிஸ் விட மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. என்னுடைய ஃபுல் ஃபேமிலி வந்து நான் சொல்றது என்னுடைய ஃபேமிலினா நான் என் ஹஸ்பண்ட் என் பசங்களை மட்டும் சொல்லல. என்னுடைய பெரிய ஃபேமிலில எல்லாருமே என்ன சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னா, தே ஆர் நாட், என்னால வந்து ரிஸ்க் எடுக்க முடியாது அப்படின்ற தாட்ல அவங்க பேசுறாங்க. அப்ப நான் என்ன நினைக்கிறேன் அப்படின்னா, எனக்கு வந்து பெர்மிஷன் கொடுங்க. எனக்கு வந்து கொஞ்ச நாள் வந்து நீங்க ஸ்கூலுக்கு அனுப்புங்க. எனக்கு கொஞ்ச நாளாச்சு வெளியில அனுப்புறதுக்கான பெர்மிஷன் கொடுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நான் பேசியிருக்கேன். சோ இயர்லி ஒரு 2 times ஒரு 2 months வந்து அங்க வரலாமா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நான் கேக்குறேங்க.
Okay.
Jayashree, can you little summarize the question and let's keep it
So
crisp?
Otherwise,
The other rest of the people might feel left out.
So she has 2 questions. One is her elder son is studying in 7th grade now, and from 8th grade the syllabus or the curriculum is going to be heavy, and he would be doing only study the entire day. So he will be spending most of his time for school related activities only, which she is not happy about. But her family is not supporting her in taking him out of school. So her extended family basically is not allowing her to take him out of school because they feel 8th is the most important, or 8th and further studies is very important for the child. So they are not allowing her to take the risk, is what she is trying to say. And she wants to know if she can come and explore. I mean, if her son can come and explore Aarohi, say once in 2 months or something like that. Not as a regular child at Aarohi, but can he go to school and also explore Aarohi in parallel? So that's the first question.
Okay. Yep. So we all know the answer. The answer is no. You can answer the first question. The answer is a simple yes. there is nothing more to talk about that. So you can convey that to her.
Yeah. So definitely நீங்க வந்துட்டு உங்க பையனை வந்துட்டு ஆரோஹில எப்ப நீங்க வரீங்களோ அப்ப இவங்களுக்கு முன்னாடி இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிட்டு இந்த டைத்துக்கு வரும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி வந்து விசிட் பண்ணலாம். ஸ்கூலுக்கு போயிட்டு இருந்தாலும் ஸ்கூல்ல இருந்து லீவ் எடுத்துட்டு வந்துட்டு விசிட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். சோ அதுல ப்ராப்ளம் எதுவுமே இருக்காது.
ஓகே மேம், தேங்க் யூ. எவ்வளவு நாள் வேணாலும் இப்போ ஒரு 20 days அப்படினா கூட ஸ்டே பண்ணலாம்ல மேம்?
ஆமா, அது பண்ண முடியும். நீங்க வந்துட்டு அந்த ஆரோஹி வெப்சைட்ல வந்துட்டு இருக்கும், நம்ம ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ற மாதிரி. சோ அண்ட் நீங்க டிஸ்கஸும் பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
Yeah, Jayashree, just convey that one has to experience before they decide 20 days. Plan for a week and then you can decide how long you want to come, whether you want to come at all or whether you want to send your son to the school at all. All those things will come later. but first experience for a week and then decide.
Sure, sir.
And if I understood, there was also a language issue. On the campus, there are many different languages spoken. Yes, English is the most commonly spoken language, but then most adults and children, when you are in between and living in that language, you will pick up a lot. And sometimes you also teach your language to others. So,
so language is not an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, language will not be an issue when there is an intent to do some things.
Exactly, that was the second question. So she's worried that her 7-year-old daughter, the younger one, does not want to go to school. And so she wants to know if she will be able to manage in the Aarohi online community where she won't be able to converse well in English or understand English. So that was her next question.
Sure.
So you have answered it already.
Yeah. Also, as Dwiji said, the whole idea is please come for 1 week, stay here, get the whole experience, and many of these kind of questions will automatically get answered, not by somebody, but by your experience. So maybe you can convey that once again. I'm conveying it to everybody here, not just Ambika, but you can specifically convey to Ambika.
So அவர் சொல்றது வந்துட்டு அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு 5 days மாதிரி வந்து எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ணி பாத்தீங்கன்னா உங்களோட நிறைய கொஸ்டின்ஸ்க்கு அதுல ஆன்சர்ஸ் வந்துடும். அங்க அந்த அந்த ஒரு 5 days எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு வந்துட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன செய்யலாம் அப்படிங்கறதையும் நீங்க யோசிக்கலாம். 5 days போதுமா, இதுக்கப்புறம் ஸ்கூல் போடலாமா, இல்ல ஆரோஹில இருக்கலாமா, இல்ல 20 days வரலாமா, இல்ல 1 month வரலாமா, அதெல்லாம் நீங்க அப்புறமா யோசிக்கிறது. ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒரு ஷார்ட் டர்மா வந்து செக் பண்ணிட்டு எப்படி இருக்குன்னு நீங்களும் உங்க பையனும் பார்க்கணும்.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
I have a question. Is this Aarohi X is online? Is it? How does it work? Can you please tell me?
Yeah, don't know if you're okay. We can little more talk about open learning first. We will come to how Aarohi works a little later because there is not much. Let's first understand open learning in little more detail first, and then so I would first request more questions related to open learning, and then we will move on to the logistics. Even Ambika's questions were more related to the logistics part as to when can we come, how can we come. Then we can answer a little later.
No, my daughter has got a question. We have a dog in our house and she's very attached to the dog. So she's asking, is the dog allowed if she comes and stays there just only for a few days?
Yeah. So again, first time you come just you with your family, experience this place, and then you can think about all the other ifs and buts. The same answer which we gave to Ambika, I think is in general. So the Aarohi specific questions can a lot get answered when you come and experience. Yeah, but still we'll answer that also a little later. Yeah.
From when do we start this? Like if you have to register this, when if you have to come over there?
It is open. It is already happening. Yeah, people are already coming. You can just visit the website. All the information is there.
But right now,
but I would still wait. I would still suggest don't rush into I want to come to Aarohi. Wait. Okay. I still am requesting first understand open learning. Yeah, because if you're coming with some other frame of mind, then the coming will not help you. First, if you little understand, I'm not saying you have to fully understand, and then you plan a trip. So that would make more sense. Yeah, Dwiji, sorry.
So, just sorry to interrupt you, Ratnesh. Sure. But I feel, Aarohi is not a school. So let's first put that out in case it was not very clear till now. Aarohi is not a school. So please do not think that learning happens on campus. It does not. So as in there is no teaching that happens there. There's no classes that happen there. So it's not like one has to be physically on campus to do open learning. The only campus that you need to be is in here, as in each of our minds. So that's why Ratnesh is again and again saying, let's understand open learning. Let's have questions about open learning itself. And then we can come to campus and the whole role of community and what do we mean by learning together as a community, So please don't get us wrong. Let's come back. And I want to just take Ambika's point or question and build it onto the topic of the day. When do we start, right? So this question of when do we start when it comes to open learning is a very tricky one because there's no definite thing that, okay, as we say, Anywhere from 0 to 99 years, you are welcome to come to Aarohi. You are welcome to be a part of the Aarohi community. So when do we start then? I mean, 0 or 1 or 5 or 10 or 19 or 50? So that's the kind of what shall I say, thinking that we would like to trigger in your mind, that when is the right time. I would like you to share, please. There are 13 of us here, so leave out Ratnesh and me and Jayashree, and any other parents who have been around, often on the Aarohi webinars and all this. So would love to hear your thoughts on when do you think is the right time to start open learning, and therefore to end also. So please unmute yourself. Feel free to speak it out, or if you would prefer to, you're welcome to type it in the chat window as well. One of us will read it out. Thank you.
So see, my daughter is 13 years now, teenage. So her thoughts are totally different from my thoughts, what I wanted and things. So she says she has her own ideas. So I was thinking about this open schooling only because I want her to lead her life. I don't want her to lead through my life what I want. So that is one of the main reason I'm exploring Aarohi. So I want her to leave this thing and enjoy her life. I want her to decide, which we were not able to do when we were kids.
Sure.
So that is one of the reason, and I want some help from your side. How do I go about it? Because I have no idea how to go from here and what steps to take. I'm totally out of this thing. So I need that's. So if you can help me out with this, it will be good.
In some ways, you have already taken the step. See, there are no steps as in no 1, 2, 3, 4. The step is to start thinking, and not just thinking alone, as you very rightly put it, to think together. You're already thinking with your daughter, and your daughter is sharing her views, and you are sharing your views, and which is nothing but co-creating. You all as a family are thinking, and that's exactly what is open learning. We together think, and we think, okay, what next we want to do, and then we do that, and then we think again, and then what we next to do, and then we do that, and then we again think, and so on and so forth, and it just keeps building up from there. So if you want steps, those are the steps, as in you only create the steps yourself. And in that whole process, obviously, you will connect with more like-minded or more families, which is one way, is these meetups, and they will share their stories. Yeah. So inviting more families to share how you started, how you have gone through, so that will help others to understand. But please don't take it this way that, oh, she's doing this way or he's doing this way, so I need to do it that way. That's why I wanted to say that first. And now I want other people to share, how are you going about your journey?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so may I ask a question?
Just one moment. I want people to also share, how are you, where you think you started, and how are you going about your journey as response to her question. And then we can go to the next question. So there are people who mentioned they've been doing unschooling or homeschooling, whatever, or open learning for the last few years. So we'd like to hear their journey in brief. Yeah.
So I have young children, and I've been doing open learning since maybe when they were young, so maybe 6 years or whenever they were born. Yeah. So how I've been doing is just making a list of all that she loves to do, and even if there is something that is not in general, that is not approved by an adult, and still what do you love about it, even if it's videos or any character. So what character do you love about it? What do you love about it? And I used to ask so many questions, and I used to create notes that, okay, if she loves something that, okay, magic is something that she loves in this character, then if you had that power, what would you do? So I just triggering conversations out of everything that she loves to do, and then creating a timetable that includes what she loves to do. And this is pretty much how I started, actually, to connect with them and to understand why they are doing what they are doing. Yeah. And whenever they needed my help, yes, they approached me, but mostly it happens that I get bored. I mean, because when children are left on their own, they are very much self-sufficient. They handle hot glue gun, they handle scissors of even the heavy scissors, the cloth cutting scissors, and they make miniature clothes and they make various stuff. So yeah, at some point of time, it was getting bored for me that they're not. I mean, I'm not needed for them. Yeah.
That's awesome news. Yes, but the lovely keywords I'm picking up from what you shared, Sujaya, beautiful sharing. There's things like a lot of conversations, a lot of observations. I think even these two keywords are more than enough to start off. Just I observe and then I converse with them. I listen to their needs and I allow them to explore. Wow, beautiful.
And the lovely thing is that now you have more time on your hands. You don't have to do all that. They don't want you around. So that's super.
Yeah.
Okay, more people would like to share.
Yes, Ratnesh, Rachna here. So, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we started off with initially the thought of homeschooling, and since the traditional schooling was not fitting fine, and the whole thing started with me playing with my kids. It was just games. There was no as such the so-called curriculum or so-called any learning of technicalities or anything like that. So we were all playing just games, and most of the times the games suggested by my children. So they are 6-year-old twins now. So there we started our journey. Now it's been a year now that now they're not looking for the games with me. Now they're very much busy exploring themselves, like how Sujaya is saying, observing them, giving them the environment, or talking to them as to what they want to do, where they want to spend their time today. So just an example of last week was my daughter came up saying she wants to do stitching. She likes to do stitching. So giving her the tools and sharing with her as to how she can do with respect to safety part, of course. So there it started the exploration, the journey of her stitching. So this is how we usually talk as to what you want to do for the day or where your interests are. So whenever there's a thing which they feel they are interested and they want my support is when they call me in. Otherwise, most of the times they are like exploring themselves, various things, whether it's doing something in clay, doing something with their toys, or playing with their building blocks. So it's all about how they want to take the day. And whenever possible, yes, there is my requirement which they want me to come. Most of the times they just want to be exploring themselves and do things themselves. So that's where the journey started. And again, as Sujaya mentioned, observing. So this is one thing which I've picked up in attending many webinars of Aarohi as well, that the homeschooling journey involves a lot of observation from the parent. So there as well, when I observe, and the next, my support most of the times is in talking and then providing the environment which they would want to have to explore their journey.
Thanks, Rachna. You can. I don't know whether everybody knows how old your children are, just for a reference point.
Yes, I have twins who are 6-year-old boy girl. So yeah.
Jayashree, you want to share quickly your journey?
Okay. So when we started to homeschool, they were around 9 years old. So right now, they are 13-year-olds. So when we started, prior to starting homeschooling, they were going to a Montessori setup. So when we started to homeschool, we simulated something similar at home. So we had some of the Montessori materials at home because they wanted to do the Montessori way. So that's how it started. They made their own timetable kind of a thing. They planned their day like this. 10 to 11, I'll do this. 11 to 12, I'll do this. Like that, they planned their day and all. But then over a period of time, all that changed. Pre-COVID, towards that time, it was mostly we were going out almost every day and exploring different things, more with respect to, say, rock climbing or going around trekking and all those things. There was no fixed plan or there was no schedule there. And then sometime in between, they wanted a schedule, so they brought in schedule again. So there has been a lot of changes here and there. And we don't follow any curriculum as of now. So there are no textbooks at home. So it is mostly based on what they want to learn. It need not be only academic. Many times it is beyond what is there in academics and beyond what is given in the form of syllabus. So there are many things they learn by doing or by observing or by just participating or by playing with friends. So currently, now that they are 13, it is mostly based on their interest and passion at which they are deeply interested in. So my daughter is into gymnastics and baking. She's started little bit of a baking business kind of a thing with people around in our community, and she has started selling things, and she explores a lot in her baking and learns a lot. She talks a lot of chemistry when she is doing baking, lot of mathematics comes in her baking. And when in her experience or exploration of baking, she learns quite a lot. And my son is into chess and he wants to spend his entire day in chess. So ideally, if you look at it, there's not much of academic part per se, like in a school that is happening. But they plan their own and they reflect on their own on what they are doing right now and then plan the next step forward. And we do not know what is going to happen next. So there has been a lot of change of interest. Earlier, he was deeply into keyboard, and one fine day he stopped it full stop. So he does not even touch the keyboard now. Now it is only chess. I don't know when it is going to stop. So just waiting to see what is going to happen and how it is going to change. We never know.
Right. So earlier you were going for outdoor adventures. Now you have indoor adventure. The whole life is an adventure. Lovely, Jayashree. Yeah.
Ratnesh, I wanted to share one incident, if it's okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So when I started off with the open learning webinars with you, so I used to always hear you saying the child will decide, the child will self put up goal and do a self test. We don't have to do a test kind of a thing. So the child is already aware as to where she has to start or where he has to start and what he or she is going to achieve. So I used to think, okay, but when I saw this practically happening last week in my house, so the stitching part, so my daughter said, okay, Mama, you have given me this, I'm going to stitch like this. And then my goal is I'm going to close my eyes and do the stitching. That's my goal. Till then, I'm going to do this. So like, okay, this has actually happened now. This is something I used to think, okay, so, I had heard, and when I saw it, I was like, wow, how nicely the child has thought for herself. And when I questioned her, are you sure you really want to do that? And why do you feel that should be your goal? She's like, no, that is my goal and I'm going to do it. She did that for 3 to 4 days, the stitching part. And she's left it. I mean, she's forgotten, or I don't know. I'm still in that path. I'm not sure if she's deviated, but it's so wonderful to see them and move away also very nicely and then come back also for the task if required. So thanks for that.
Great. Thank you.
I wanted to add one more point.
Please,
here.
Jayashree. Yeah.
Regarding my open learning journey, so what I told was only about my children. So I think it is important that I should tell because it is about when do you start your open learning, right? So for me, my open learning started when I quit my job. So I was an engineer. So I was in software industry for 10 years, really getting paid a lot. And then one fine day I quit the job and then we decided I would spend more time with children because I wanted to be with them. Not that there was nobody to take care of them or anything, but then I wanted to be with them and then I quit. And then once they were in Montessori, I wanted to do the Montessori course. So I joined the Montessori education and I did the course for Montessori also. And then when we quit schooling also, and then once we started homeschooling, I started exploring many more things of my interest and my passion. So many of my real learning, I think, has happened once I started exploring many things. May not be along with my children, but when my children were exploring something, I was also exploring something. And that has not been an overlap of my interest or my children's interest, but then I was able to find time and space for exploring my passion and interest. So for Bridget's question, when do you start open learning? Anytime and every time.
And just
what
to
I feel is to do open learning, you need the time and space. So if you're always on a rush, running behind your office job or running behind to catch up with the school bus and all that, open learning may not happen to the extent that we would want it to be. So that emptiness is what helps in open learning is my way of looking at it.
Yeah, that's a
Thank
lovely
you.
keyword, Jayashree, the space and that the child and all of us needs. And we have been, you can say honored to see how Jayashree spews magic in and out. So I won't tell anybody anymore. If you want to see Jayashree's magic, you have to join our community. As a Jayashree, as a child, as an open learner, right? She's like amazing, right? Okay, so yeah, more thoughts, more questions, more sharing. Somebody else also had a question also. You are most welcome.
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes.
So I've been very comfortable with open learning. Again, all credits to you also. I've attended various sessions. Yeah, and I've read Jiddu Krishnamurthy's books and all. Yeah, that's all fine. But now these days, what has happened is, since many months maybe, my children have become very comfortable in conversing with English. Like when they started to speak, they learned Telugu, which is our native language, and then with the friends in the community, they started to speak in English. That's all fine. But what we have observed is there is some kind of disconnection that is happening when relatives come home, or with the adults at home. Adults also at home, and not just at home. When we visit to other people's houses, like my parents, or yeah. So how do I now get back to the local language was one question to me, which now they are not comfortable, and I am from this thinking from this philosophy that I shouldn't be forcing them. Yes, I can create that awareness of the need, and I keep telling them that people are not what they say is, yes, I understand what they ask, yes, I reply, but then when they are replying in English, there is no conversation. So I tell them the next conversation is not happening, just a question and answer is happening. So people might feel disconnected with this. So what else can you do is something that I am exploring with them. But how else can I approach this? If this is the right question actually in this forum. Yeah. So for them, maybe it is not a need right now, or maybe when they're growing up, there might be, and it is happening so much that they're speaking very fast, and sometimes even me and my husband are also not able to connect with what they speak. And I tell them again, I'm not able. I either slow down or just speak in Telugu is what I'm telling them. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's broaden this question. Why only worry about Telugu as in mother tongue or language? Why not think about many other things which we may want them to learn, but they are not, let's say, inclined to learn or not ready to learn? It could be anything, right? I may, for example, I may want my child to, let's say, run, or I may want my child to learn some sport, or I don't know what could be a wish list of anybody for that matter. And that is the beauty of open learning, that in a house of, let's say, 3, 4, 5 members, 5 members could be learning completely, totally different things and focusing on totally different things. And as they very clearly say, right now, maybe they don't have a need. And as that need unfolds, perhaps they will pick up whatever else they want to learn. So that's the beauty of open learning, that at the same time, we may want others to learn what I value. In this case, you are valuing the mother tongue because of interaction with you all and with relatives and other people. But what I value, I can propose to them, I can bring to them. I can watch movies, Telugu movies together, and so on. So I can do a lot of different things, but finally it's up to them to decide what they want to learn and when they want to come back to Telugu. Maybe when they are 40 years old, suddenly they want to dive back into Telugu literature or Telugu sing music and so on, and so poetry, and who knows. Yeah. So I think it's a very, very interesting aspect of open learning, where we have to constantly look into ourselves at that, hey, why am I bringing in my agendas? I can present, I can bring it as an option, but do I really need to impose my agendas onto them? And I think that's, and they're also born in a different generation. That's something that we need to realize, right? Their exposure is far, far more than our exposure, right? If you go back to when you were, let's say, a 10-year-old, you didn't have that many, let's say, English movies around. Let's just take an example of language, since you're talking about. So I think we need to put that into perspective and say, okay, so they're exposed, they're living in a global world, right? We were not born in a global world in that sense, but they are.
From
And
their
so,
point of view,
yes.
From their point of view, I'm totally with them. But when I see some kind of disconnection happening with, we do have many like relatives, extended family.
So yeah, the point is that when they feel that disconnection, they will try to see what to do with that disconnection. Right now, you are feeling, but they are not feeling, or rather, they may convert the other people to talk to them in English. So it may happen the other way.
I'll take a slightly different note here. Sujaya, how comfortable are your conversations in Telugu in the family? As in, can you have a day or two where you're not speaking anything but Telugu?
Yeah, I also brought up this, that yes, we do use English words in Telugu. Yes, that's fine. But we do have adults at home. So our major language is Telugu, our native language. Yes, but we do use English words as in the chair. Yeah, we don't say the Telugu word for chair.
No, I'm not talking about pure Telugu, but the idea here, what I'm trying to convey here is that it's not that our Telugu is the same as what my parents talked.
Yes, that's fine. Yes, got it.
Right? So the change is not suddenly happening between this generation and the next generation. This is a change that is constant. Right? And in spite of us using more English words than our parents, we still connect to our parents.
Yes.
Right? So I would say, I don't think language is the issue here. That's what I'm trying to convey. That it seems like language is the barrier, but it's probably more than just the language. How do we connect with our children? How do my parents connect with my children? So it's like 2 generations apart. How do the two connect to each other? Right? Especially when the child is not going through the conventional system that my parents put me through, which I'm guessing is what your experience was. So I experienced this with my mother and father as well when they're interacting with my daughter. They took a long time, and they're quite open about open learning and explorations and things like that. But it's still sinking in. Even now, my mother is concerned once in a while. She's like, she's quite smart, but once in a while, you should give her a test. Right? So we have to find ways, creative ways in which the generations can connect together. And one of the things that we have found very useful are pets. And the second thing is games. When they're playing games that both of them know, that's when they really connect and they're able to converse, whatever language they're speaking.
Yeah, that's happening actually. Yes, that's happening. One is speaking in English, one is speaking in Telugu. Still, that's happening. Yeah. Okay,
And maybe the grandparents will learn more English than they learn more Telugu.
That too. And very soon you'll have WhatsApp conversations with emojis and all that happening in the family.
Yeah, right. I think I limited myself to this disconnection. Maybe that's not the point here. Maybe what hit my mind was when some adults in the community, or elderly people, they told me that they answer to what I ask, but they don't speak beyond that. They are standing there. They are welcome, but that is where when I asked my children, then they told, yes, I understand all of that, but I don't know how to answer in their language, is what my younger said actually. There is something,
more thoughts, more questions, especially related to open learning. because what Sujaya shared can actually happen even with school-going children. So that I think is not directly related to open learning. The moving away from the mother tongue could be, as Diji said, it's more a generation to generation. Things are moving in different direction. Okay, we have a question in the chat. Sorry, let me read that. I have a query regarding self-directed learning, which is need-based as I understand. So I have a question on that as we create an environment so as to generate a need regarding what we would like to teach, or actually take a step back and wait on the need to arise automatically, and how far to take conversation. Okay. Yeah, I think the first one, you have answered it yourself. We'll have, meaning one way is to take a step back and see whether the need arises. The other is that you also jump in and say, no, I will force me, and they also force them, and it's a full war out there. Everybody trying to put in their agenda, which is what, if you come to the campus, you will see it all in all. Everybody has their agenda and everybody tries to push their agenda and so on. And that's the co-creation. That's the fun part. And I guess the conversation also, Dr. Bhairavi, gets attached to the same aspect. The conversation, if it's a full-on conversation, is everybody is fully allowed to be themselves in there with their thoughts and all, then I don't think there is anything to take far. Whatever you want to share, whatever they want to share. And if everybody is again co-accepting, co-creating, co-living, then you can have hours and days of conversation. There is no end to any conversation for that matter. So in that sense, yes, I think there is no right or wrong. It's not about what I think or what anybody else thinks, but it's how you co-create your journey, how you co-create your environment, and how that goes. Yeah. So the child may impose, if you want to impose a certain learning on the child may impose a certain learning on you. The child may say, play this video game with me, even if you don't like it. If you say, you learn this with me. So there could be a negotiation, half an hour of my video game and half an hour of yours. If you want to do it that way, or if you want to do it the other way, your permutation combination is absolutely fine. So that's the beauty of this whole journey of togetherness is the beauty of open learning, according to me. Yes, you have to work according to what works with all of us, right? All in the family, right? Yeah, that's what it is all about. Okay, somebody else was on the mic wanting to ask a question, and we had postponed the question.
Yes. I wanted to ask something.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please, yeah, Jolly.
So I'll take it from Jayashree's sharing, what she shared. Like her daughter, she is into baking and stuff, and son is into chess. So I wanted to ask you whether you introduced her to baking, or she just took it up on herself. Like she saw some videos, she was suddenly interested, or like I would like to know that. Like,
okay, so that was her own journey. We had an OTG at home, which I never used. And I really don't like baking, so I have never baked at home. Only once I baked, that time she told, Amma, the cake is good, but don't ever do it again. She was very polite in telling me that it is good, but she told me don't try it again. But then after that was when she was some 8 years or something. But then this journey started only quite recently, around 11 and a half or 12 years, when she was 12 or so. And it started by her own self. She got introduced to it through one friend of mine. And she just went and did one set of baking with that person. And then it is mostly her own exploration. And she has not done any course or anything for baking. So she watches the recipes, and then she tweaks the recipes based on her understanding, based on the failures that she is facing. And then she makes her own recipes based on those and then works with that. So mostly it is, I would say it is like 99.9% self-driven by her own interest. And I don't even go near her when she's baking. So even to take the materials out. So right from planning, what are the materials needed? Probably I help her with the buying stuff to go and take the car and buy things. But then measuring or cleaning up, everything is her own thing. So there is no role that I play there. Maybe the role I play is to taste it.
I guess, Jolly, also the virus should be at least acknowledged here. This corona led a lot many more people to explore cooking, baking, because you're only at home. You can't go out. So as well as try some adventure with the oven. And I'm sure a lot many more children and especially husbands tried their hand at cooking. So so that is the beauty again of open learning. You're not constrained by what you cannot do, because there is so much with what you can do. Yeah, that's the point that I'm trying to make, that okay, so what if there's a lockdown? It doesn't matter, we have so many other things to do, and when the lockdown will open, we will again go out and do all our hiking and trekking and so on and so forth. So that's the beauty. It doesn't get constrained by the constraint in that sense. Yeah. Okay.
One more, like if you can just share your opinions. Like my 3.5-year-old, she loves dancing and singing and everything. Like parents like, oh, she's like, she loves dancing. She loves coloring and everything. She's like very much interested in. So earlier she would just dance with her dad or me. We'll put on some music and we'll dance. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll just take her to dance class and see. Uh, Maybe she'll enjoy, or let's see. At least she will get to see some more kids like her. That was the main reason, to expose her to more children. That was my intention. Then I took her. She enjoyed. She was dancing. She danced a lot. She'll jump around. They'll be doing, other kids will be dancing, and she'll do her own steps and everything. Then suddenly, now at home, she's not dancing that much. She's not enjoying. She is enjoying, but she's only thinking of the steps, like like this is wrong or this is right. I don't know what actually is going on inside her head, but that fun, that crazy part has reduced a little bit maybe, but it has happened. So what is it? What do you experience homeschoolers would like, your experience with this? Like, I mean, she's too young. She's lonely, and can structured learning can hamper this her creative self.
Yeah, maybe that is the reason. Maybe there could be another reason also. We don't know, as you said. But yes, definitely a structured class can also help, simply because now there is a judgment about right step or wrong step. There is too much emphasis on correction and doing it right, and presenting it right, and so on. Right. If it's too early for the child may just back off and say, okay, I've got other things to do. Why only, why should I feel that way? So yeah, that can be an issue at any age, for that matter. Even at my age, if I go for a workshop and I feel, oh, this guy is too much behind me, I'll say tata bye bye and not go for the second class. So it's nothing to do with 3.5. It's to do with when we feel unnecessarily burdened in any which way. In this case, maybe just just a learning burden kind of thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we are almost at 6-7. So I had promised that later on we can also answer Aarohi specific questions. Yeah. So if you have the question still and you want to ask, and you can ask that, you can still ask about open learning, though, and we have only little conversation about open learning. We can have many more. Manish, you have been quiet. Would you like to share something or ask something? And there are more people. I'm just inviting people who have been otherwise quiet. If you have any thoughts or questions, go ahead, please share.
No, I'm quite enjoying the conversation and getting more information about the open learning. And really, I wanted to visit Aarohi, but due to this COVID and all these things, I couldn't visit. and maybe I'm just planning to come. Means within 1 or 2 months, maybe. Yeah.
Super.
Sure.
Yeah, we look forward. Absolutely, and that invitation is for everybody. Yeah. Whenever you want to visit for whatever duration, right now the minimum duration is a week. So yeah, on the website there is all the details. You register, you look up the calendar, you register, and that's it. You come over. It's as simple as that. There is no major formality. I will also put the link where you get the information if you want to have that link, but you can just visit the website of Aarohi and you will get all the required information.
And yeah, the beauty of Aarohi is it's not only for the kids, it's also for us also. That's the beauty of Aarohi. Yeah.
Yes, it's for the family. Open learning is always done by the family, not by the child. It just
Right.
wouldn't work if just the child is doing open learning. So it's the family who starts doing open learning, and then you just don't have two children of Jayashri, but you have Jayashri doing the open learning or Dwiji doing the open learning, and that's the real fun. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so we're talking about Dr. Bhairavi is talking about switching tracks. If you word it like switching tracks, it almost sounds negative. If you word it as exploring life, then it sounds very positive. It's the same thing, right? Children, I would say, are designed to explore, right? They want to explore all kinds of things. And especially at a particular age, they may want to do different things. And I was giving initially in my introduction example of my daughter who is 23 and still wants to explore so many different things. She keeps within quotes switching from this to that, while my son who is 17 is like totally into one thing, nothing else. So I guess it's also a factor of each individual. Each one of us is different. Some of us, we call it as are like butterflies who like to go from flower to flower. And some of us are like bees who like to go deep into one flower, so to say. So it's just a matter of how we are, and we may also change. Maybe at a younger age, we might be more into one thing, then we may change, or the other way around as we grow. So it's all very dynamic, and I think it's just everything is fine. There is no need. There are people who have done not just in terms of learning, but in terms of careers, so many different kinds of jobs or so many different kinds of businesses and so on. So I think there is no limit to the switching business as you. So I would, if my child is switching from one to another, I will just sit back and enjoy each one till it lasts. As Yashri was saying, right now it's baking, gymnastics, chess. Let's see till when it lasts. Earlier it was piano. So yeah, let's learn from Yashri and sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, for this question, can I share something? Yeah,
sure. Please.
Yeah. After my +2, I joined fine arts, and I did it for 2 years. After that, I went for chartered accountancy. I completed that, and I was in a senior position in a bank, then life insurance, and I couldn't feel the thing that means I didn't feel that it is the path that I need to choose. No. Then after that, I went for the holistic healing, and I am more in the holistic healing field. And we are having some project about retirement community and all that. Means I feel my life more fulfilling and free, rather than 9 to 5 that stuck job. No, you can feel that, yeah. Therefore, the more we explore, the more experience we get, and more we can nurture and grow ourselves. Therefore, we can look for some one fixed goal that may change from as we grow. No, therefore, therefore, what I feel means let's be free, free to choose life. No,
yes, absolutely. Yeah, so Dr. Barry, it's not a question of no need to question, because again, in open learning, there is a constant discussion, conversation. So if a child says, okay, enough of piano, now I don't want to touch piano, I only want to do chess. I'm just taking an example based on what Jayashree shared. It is not that I don't need to question it, but when I'm questioning it, or when we are discussing it or conversing about it, the whole idea is not that, oh, the child should continue on piano. That's not, I'm not coming from that point of view, but I'm coming from the point of view that we together reflect and understand, hey, what did I like about this? And now what am I looking forward to? And what I did not like about it? Or maybe I'm just parking it aside. So the whole idea of conversation is to understand each other, not to impose our whatever, let's say, liking. Yeah, exactly. Jayashree has put that in much lesser words. Yeah, with an intention to understand and listen. Absolutely. So that's the whole idea. So please do talk about it. And I think that's the beauty of doing things together.
Yeah, when we say directed, self-directed, it doesn't mean that we don't question the direction.
Yeah.
Right. So because maybe we will understand something from the directions that they are choosing. Right. So it's the co-creation, like Ratnesh keeps saying, that if we enter it with an open mind that oh, I think this is the way to do it, and you think this is the way to do it. So let's just talk about it and understand where each of us is coming from.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Okay, Donna is asking an interesting question. What to do as a parent if I'm not able to afford what the child wants? And the answer is very simple. I will still co-create. I'll go back to the child, or rather be with the child, and the whole family again discusses, okay, so you want to do this, and these are our, let's say, financial status. If you say afford in terms of finance, I'm assuming that. And then the family comes out with whatever solution they can figure out. Right? Again, it's a co-creation. It is not just that the child says, I want a rocket to go to Mars, and we start making a rocket. No. That's not the point of open learning. The point of open learning is we together try to figure out what we can do for each other. Right? Even a parent can ask for a rocket. Why only a child should have dreams, right? So anyone in the family can say, I want to do this, and the others can then co-create and see how we can support each other. That's what we do in the community. So the community is the Aarohi community, where there's so many families. Each family is trying to support and help each other to see how each other can pursue what they want to pursue. So that's an important, you can say, part of being in a community. So you can do it at a family level, or you can enlarge and do it at a larger group, maybe your friends and relatives, or even communities like Aarohi community, where you can connect with more people, and not only they can help support, let's say, what your child wants to achieve, you can support what other children want to achieve. And it need not just be financial affordability. There's so many other factors that come in when one is trying to, grow and grow in the direction that we want to grow. Okay, yeah, Pranav has an interesting point to add. He's saying it's not just that we question the child can question us. And if we are at par with the child and both open to being questioned, then it's like a together journey. Absolutely, Pranav. Thanks for bringing that in. Yeah, okay. We have about 10 more minutes, so we can take a few more questions. If they're more specific to Aarohi, we can take that now. That's a good time. If you still have questions on open learning, you're most welcome. And not just questions. If you just want to talk about something or share something, you're most welcome. Let me also take this opportunity while you are thinking. Okay, Donna is asking when can we can come anytime. Actually, there is a calendar on the website. You can look up the calendar. and there is also a visiting form. You can register. But right now it's only open for a week. And also these meetups, we have been doing these meetups for almost more than 2 years now. This is the 95th meetup, and all the recordings are there on the website. In many of the meetups, specific families have come and shared their journey in more detail. So you may want to look those up, or you may want to just catch up with more discussions. Also, we keep meeting every Saturday, so you can come for more Saturdays just to explore and understand that. Okay, you're asking, throw some light on Aarohi. Well, Aarohi is nothing but Aarohi in a more, because people are in different cities, so families come together and share and do things together. Obviously, we use online platforms for it. So there's a platform where we all share what we are doing. And then we use something like Zoom also to do things together. And we do all kinds of things. We do theater together, we do music together, we do make things together. We learn from each other, teach each other, share what we are making. So for example, Jayashree's daughter, Shrishti, she does so much baking. So we get to know about her baking because she keeps posting pictures of what she made, how she made, she shares her recipes. And if anybody wants to learn anything, they say, hey, Shrishti is her daughter's name. Hey, Shrishti, can you teach me? And then those people will fix up a time. And there's also, and then they can learn together. So it's like 2-3 people say, okay, I'm teaching how to do this. So we can learn from Shrishti. And same way Shrishti can learn from somebody else who is baking. And somebody else may say, I know this technique, and so on. So it's all very, again, very, very informal and very organic. There is no one person driving, or there's no one structure to it. It's a group which is creating their own structures. And yes, we are in different cities, different countries. There are people from, let's say, Dubai, and there are even people from US. So there are different people who are part of the community, and they're just finding where and how they connect with each other. So we do lots of things together. And as I said, it really depends on the group, what each one wants and how each one wants to participate in the community. Again, to just give Jayashree's example, her son plays chess. We already know that. And so he said, okay, I can teach chess. And then there were other children a little younger than him. He said, okay, we will learn chess from him. So, and then I think recently he said, sorry, I don't want to teach chess. So it happens like that, very, very organic. And he can come back tomorrow and say, okay, I'm again available for teaching chess. And so on it goes. So that's what Aarohi is. It's from home. Obviously, it's used. Dr. Berv is asking, what age of children? Sorry, children cannot join Aarohi. The only people who can join Aarohi is families. Children don't join and don't even think about that. My child should join. If you're thinking that way, it won't work. If you're thinking, I want to join, first you should want to join, your family should want to join, and then somebody in your family may be more involved, somebody in your family might be less involved, and so on. Okay. If you're saying, can they join with the formal schooling? Well, I really don't know. It depends on will you have time, because mostly if you're doing formal schooling, you may not have time. The children may not have time, and you may also not have time. So that's something that you will need to think, because we have these collaborations happening sometimes 6 in the morning, and a lot of them happen even 7, 8, 9 in the night and whole day. So people are just doing things as per their need or desire. They are not waiting for any specific way of doing it. So yeah, with formal schooling, I really don't know. It really depends on you actually as a family. But we are not here to question you. Hey, are you doing formal schooling? Then you can't be part of our community. We don't have no barriers at all. You just should want to be part of the community, to give as well as get from the community. But it has to be family. It can't just be that, okay, I just push my child forward and say, beta, now another online thing happening out there. It doesn't work like that.
I think we can pause here.
Okay.
I'm done with cooking dinner. So
Yeah, I could see that. But still, if you have a question, we can still take it. If somebody is waiting for an opportunity to ask a question.
So I'll ask to be excused. See you all next Saturday, and hope you have a good weekend. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye, Dviji, and thanks. And as I said, we normally schedule it these sessions till 6:30, so I can be around for another 5 minutes if somebody has a question. If nobody has a question, we can obviously stop.
Ratnesh, I had a question on Aarohi X.
Yeah.
So, in case of Aarohi X, how do they come together like a community and plan the things? Say, suppose there are 10 families coming together to plan. Like some of the examples that you gave, say one family decides to do, say, learn guitar or teach guitar. So there'll be 2-3 families that will join, and maybe one family is still not interested, and so they decide to do something else. So is that how it works, or just a slight more detail on how the planning works on Aarohi X?
So basically, we use an online community called Discord. It is it's basically, you can think of it as a WhatsApp with many different channels, and so we have channel for everything. If you're familiar with Discord or Slack, so Discord works similar to Slack. It's more like a so the whole idea, so there are different channels. Suppose there's a dance channel, there's an art channel, there's a music channel, there's a baking channel. So suppose Shrishti likes baking, so she will post there, I made these, let's say, cupcakes. So she'll post a picture and she may post a couple of lines about it. Somebody will ask some question, and then she may say, oh, for this I can teach you if you want to. And then they will converse with each other using that Discord app only to figure out a time. And then that time there's an announcement channel where it will be announced, okay, at 6 o'clock tomorrow, Shrishti is teaching how to put icing on the cake. Right? Something like that. So I'm just giving you a very simple example. And it actually happens that simply. So yeah, so that is like a substitute for the campus. That Discord is like our online campus, and then people will go into different if they are doing something together, they would typically use Zoom. We obviously have an Aarohi Zoom account, which is what we are using right now. So they will come on to the Zoom, and Zoom has this beautiful feature of breakout rooms. So one room could be doing something, one room could be doing something, one room could be doing something, depending on who all want to do. And the rest of the people are doing something else at their home. So at any time, who is interacting with whom depends on each individual. Somebody need not be interacting the whole week. I didn't interact with anybody, but next week I interacted 5 times or whatever. So each one has a different level and desire of engagement, and it keeps changing. It's very organic. It's not, as I said, it's not driven. Just that there is 2 things which happen. There is an opening circle which happens on Monday. So which is like most of the people try to come together on that. So that's why we call it opening circle, where people share what they are doing and all that. And then there is a closing circle which happens on Saturday. Yeah, so it's like closing of the week. And typically very little happens on Sundays. So Monday to Saturday. And then, so those are like community spaces, the opening circle is a closing circle. The rest all is, it's all co-created.
Thank you.
Ratnesh?
Yeah.
So like to this you can add me to that group, so I can see like if what is going on and what I can pick up from my kid.
Yeah, so if you want to join the community, you will have to let us know, and then there will be one small orientation session which my colleague Leela will take you through for you to understand in a little more detail. What I've given you is an overview, little more detail how Aarohi X works. Yes. And then she will give you the link of a small form that you will need to fill in. And that's it. Then you will be part of the community. So you can send me a message whenever you can discuss with your family and say, okay, I want to be part of this community, our family to be part of the community. So, and then you can send me a message and I can, if you want, I can also give my colleague Leela's number. You can directly also connect with, you can tell her that I've been part of the the Saturday meetups. And now I think I want to be part of the community, the online community. So she will help you out. Yeah, I'll just give you the number. Just give me one moment. Her number, I'll just copy paste in the chat. You can just save it and connect with her.
And do families meet like annually or half yearly, physically?
Sorry?
Like suppose like I want to go there physically. I want to be a part of the community. Do we meet every year, like once in every year or once in?
You're saying at the campus?
At the campus.
Oh, you can come anytime. That is not related to the what's happening at Aarohi X. So it's not that all the families come together at the same time, because that's not practically possible. Everybody has their own schedule. Yeah. So yeah. So if you want to come, you can come. If you want to come with some families, then you will have to coordinate with them. When are you coming? I also want to come at that time. But that's really that's something you will have to drive.
Thank you.
So families coming to the campus need not be part of the online community. That's not a requirement. You can be part of the online community and come to campus, or you need not be part of the online community and still be part of the campus. But once typically children or families, when they are regularly a part of the campus, then they by default become part of the online community. Okay, you're asking, would you suggest to go through Jagrati before Aarohi X? Not really. There is no direct relationship. There are people in the community who have not done Jagrati. So there is no, as such, those two are slightly different things. Jagrati is more a program for parents. It's not specifically about open learning. So yeah, you need not confuse the two. If you are part of the community and then you want to do Jagrati because as a parent, you want to open yourself up more, then you do Jagrati. Or if you want to do before Jagrati and after that you want to do, that's so they're not really related directly to each other. So that's really your choice. Yeah, the next batch of Jagrati will be in June. Okay, I think we have reached 6:30. So I think we can pause here as we normally do. And we'll be there every Saturday. If you want to chat, hobnob with other parents, you're most welcome to come in. If you have a specific question about joining or about visiting, you're most welcome. Ambika Jagrati is a program, online program that we do for parents. So you can look up our website. The details of Jagrati is there on our website. Yeah, and that's yeah, as I said, that's just a program which happens online. Right. So yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, we will keep meeting. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye.